Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right, show number 180.
180. Wow.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is a very special show for a number of reasons. Show number 180. I can't believe we've done this 180 times. We have a special show because I got dogs here. My daughter's here. She's going to be a guest on the show as well. And, of course, this is show number 180. Number one, Victor Cruz. One, Phil McConkey. One, Emery Moorhead, just in case Tyson Hogan thinks he knows what he's talking about. And, of course, there's one thing, and that there's only one Yankee who has ever worn number 80, and that is a AAA guy right now, Everson Pereira, which Tyson Hogan gets credit for mentioning him. He plays left field, so he ain't going anywhere for a while. But that's weird, isn't it? Number 80, no one's like. I would totally take a number that no one's ever worn. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that's the show here. Phil Tabor. That's for Venditti. And Steve Venditti just ran off the road with an Emery Moorhead and Phil Tabor. And, of course, you got Jeremy Shockey, who I was never a big fan of, even though he was actually dominant for a while. He was like Jeremy Shockey was actually really a cowboy on the Giants. Like, he dominated other teams the way Cowboys tight ends did for 40 years and still do. Well, behind the glass, producing the show, wearing, maybe he's got to lift up his chest a little bit, wearing a Rutgers shirt. And for some reason, I don't know what I put in the Sturchio water there in Dunellen. His background is a stadium I'm familiar with. Dave Sturchio, now he's wearing the cowboy hat, and that's fair enough. But he is all of a sudden out of nowhere. He's like, Jimmy, I've been to Rutgers this year. So he bought in.
Let's do it.
Which means one of two things. Either this will be the year they have a great record, or this will be the year they go 5-7. You'll be like, Jimmy, thank you. I'm done. But I have no idea. But with this show, we're going to do it a little bit. We are going to do a full rundown of the Rutgers season. And, of course, I'm talking about him without really properly introducing him. Your friend and mine, Mr. Wrestling America man, Dallas Cowboy, pain in the ass friend, but wearing the Rutgers regalia, your friend and mine, co-host of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. Dave Sturchio getting involved here from the Omni.
Good afternoon, Jimmy. I'm good, man. I'm pumped. New Rutgers season. I'm so tired of being disappointed as a Rutgers fan. It's time for it to turn it all around. And I have it on good authority. Last night I spoke to one Kyle Kearns.
What's the over and under with Kyle?
I didn't get an over under, but he did say his last sentence of the reply tweet was, "It's the year of the Scarlet Knight."
Oh,
so
that is what
might be on board as well.
Wow, I definitely got to give Kyle a call and ask him about certain things. It's exciting. I'm going to be posting something on Facebook I do every year for the last 3 years. It's called O&O. I don't know if you remember that. I change it a little bit, but man, August and September, that is Rutgers time. Why? Because we play Carteret and Linden, and we're all healthy, and our starting 22 is good. And then as the season goes on, we have a good starting 20, and then a good starting 18. And by the end of the year, it's like Sturchio lines up behind center. He's been good the last couple of games. But I'm excited about Rutgers as well. It should be fun. We're going to have a whole breakdown in just a few minutes. And, of course, what we do on this show, and I got to admit, I was stupid with this player. I think you're going to know him. You should know this guy. But when I looked at his card, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Then I realized, Jimmy, how stupid can you be? Of course I knew he is. I got his 1991 card here. He was one of the Nasty Boys, okay, with Dribble and Charlton. He is your friend and mine and a former Met, Randy Myers. You don't remember Randy Myers, relief pitcher, Yankees? No. Pitched against the Yankees in 96. You were watching the Yankee games.
Wait, 96? What, for the Braves?
Yeah, for the Orioles.
Oh, in the Orioles series. The Jeffrey Mayer game heard around.
Yeah, yes. But Randy Myers he's not a Hall of Famer, But you could like if you could say who was a fine reliever from 1985 to 1988, Randy Myers. He was a closer. He was tough as shit. His ERA 3.19, which back then he started 1 year, half a year. He was a middle reliever for a little bit. 347 saves. That's not too bad. 884 Ks. He played with the Mets, Cincy, Padres, Cubs, Baltimore, Toronto, and San Diego. More on that San Diego move later on. With the Cubs in 93, 53 saves. In 97 with Baltimore, he had 45 saves, only one blown save, which means Holmes could not pitch for them. In the 96 ALCS against the Yanks, he had 4 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits and 3 walks, but only 1 run. So I'm guessing the Yankees got him a little bit. But this guy, and Tyson Hogan saying he was a dude is right. This guy was like military, martial arts, tough as nails. He showed up with like knives and not like street knives, but like hunting knives and old grenades showing guys. He was one of those guys, tough as shit. He's part of the Nasty Boys with, like I said, with Charlton Dribble. Now in 1995, he gave up a 2-run home run with 7-7. He gave up a 2-run home run with pitch with the Cubs. And a fan who bet the game charged the field and went after Randy Myers. And they don't really show it. I only read player accounts, but he was like, as soon as he saw the guy charging him, he thought the guy was armed. Okay. And this guy took those military training courses. Like, he was wrong. I don't think this guy, again, he's not a Kyle Kerms guy. He didn't do his research on which guy to run on the field for. Supposedly, before anybody could get there, Randy Myers was like ready to go and totally slapped him around, spun him around, slammed him down. And then he's the best part. They were like rolling on the ground for a while. This guy could have had a knife, a gun. But the best part is he shook it off. He didn't come out of the game. The manager didn't take him out of the game. I love it. So I remember him.
He still had his stuff.
He still had his stuff. And the Cubs actually came back and won 12-11. They were going nuts. Now, he's also famous for a funny thing, I think. And this is like, if this happened like with the Yankees or with the Cowboys or some of the team we root for, we would lose our minds. The Padres, they claimed him. He was at the end of his career last year. They claimed him on waivers. He was making big money, like $6-7 million a year. So the Padres claimed him on waivers because they thought the Blue Jays were going to claim him, and they didn't want to have the competition and all that stuff. And the Blue Jays didn't claim him off waivers. So like they were stuck. They already had Trevor Hoffman. They were stuck with a closer that was at the end of his career, like a Brett Gardner of closers. And they had to pay him like another, $6 million a year or something like that. They say it was the worst waiver move ever. So I got to laugh out of that. So that's it. My guy here, Randy Myers. He was with the Mets. He was also involved with a trade for John Franco, who ended up being pretty good for the Mets. However, though, after he got traded and went to the Reds, he was part of the Nasty Boys and they won the World Series as a closer. So you can make the argument that trade was, I don't understand. I'm not a Met fan. Why you would trade like one closer for another, I'm not so sure. But that's Randy Myers, who just doesn't look anything like him in this photograph. So that's my guy. Dave, who do you got?
All right. Well, this week I decided to go in the spirit of training camp ending, preseason ending, sticking with my Cowboys theme. I picked up a card who nobody under the sun other than diehard Cowboys fans will even know who the hell this guy is. He didn't have a prosperous career at all. He's a cornerback. It was his 1996 card. So they took him right out of Georgia. His name is Mr. Buster Owens, cornerback. Buster Owens.
Now you don't remember him, do you? It's like this. So this is like a shitty cowboy. How long?
Like a 90s, and I was old enough to understand who these guys were at this point because this is 1996. So I don't know. But the funny part is on the back is a football quiz. There's like a quiz at the bottom, and it says, "Who was the last Cowboys cornerback to lead the NFL in interceptions?" Jimmy.
This is a 96 card.
Yeah, so the last Cowboys
it couldn't have been Dion, was it?
No.
Not Charlie. Charlie Waters was a safety, right? Yeah, that was another guy. Oh man, I know this.
You're gonna kick yourself in the ass for not knowing this. Come on.
Oh God, I know this. Tell me.
Led the NFL in interceptions. His name is Mr. Everson Walls.
Oh, of course. stupid. Oh, my brother right now, my brother, my brother just hit Venditti's car on the road, and they're discovering. I knew it. Terrible job by me.
You know what? I thought you knew it. I was confident that you knew it.
Me too. You know, Everson Walls to me was like earlier. I get it, no doubt about it. Great player and a good guy too. All right, well, that's Everson Walls and Randy Myers, the Nasty Boys, and not Everson Walls, Buster Owens, Buster Douglas, whoever that guy was at quarterback. Okay, now Patreon. We have a Reggie Jackson. That's right. We have a number 44. You know who it is? It is Daryl Clark's son. I have Tyson Hogan's kids. Here's how. Listen, I am a DNA gene pool genius when it comes to Patreon. Because if you sign up for my Patreon and you have children, eventually your children will be signed up for my Patreon. That's how I work it. I work it through the families. I'm a master recruiter. But a big shout out to LSU's finest, Daryl Clark's son, Jason. It's Father Sunday here at the stadium. We now are looking for a 45, a Cecil Fielder on the Yankees.
The big cat.
But a big shout out, of course, to Neil Goldhaber, Mike DeMosi, and James Kanowitz, website guy here at Shea. Always a fan, always helping me out. Matter of fact, he gave me a ton of cards, which I use now because my original stack ran out. So he gave me an additional shitty stack.
So you only had 180 cards in the stack?
No, I haven't been doing that the whole time. But I had a pretty decent amount. So that's it. But all right, so we got another Patreon. We're rocking and rolling here. And of course, when you talk about Patreon, that leads to chasingmiracles.com. That's right. Shit your body needs here from the Omni. These patches work. They're all over. My daughter's using them right now with her knee injury. There's various patches. There goes Dave with the jug. I think every time we do Chasing Miracles, you have to drink. And so the trivia is, at what ad does Dave drink the jug? That would be Chasing
Because I have
Miracles.
hydration packs floating around, so I have to. I'm showing the thing.
That's excellent. That's right. They sent you some stuff, right? Did you get some stuff from them? That's too funny. I love it. Anyway, these things are great. They're patches, no needles, non-invasive. And what can you do with them, Dave, when you take the patches?
Oh, you can piss in a cup.
There you go. It's pee in the cup day at Shea. It's not like it's steroids or anything. You're not going to be A-Rod after taking these. These things work. Serena Williams uses them. Michael Phelps, military. It's newer technology, a way of looking at the body with stem cells and all that stuff. ChasingMiracles.com. You must talk to Tommy and Donna. That's right. We now have a couple things. Pee in the cup, piss in the cup, and lose the popcorn are two phrases that I'm going to get shirts that say that. More on that.
I think new merchandise is
new merch plus Tacky Perfect is always my favorite. Now, I want to talk about. I know it's still right to me though. That's exactly who I am. Well, you know what? You know why? Because I put it on Chop Sports early. Chris Gucci. Somewhere in the internet web, there are my shirts hanging. I see people with shirts. I'm like, I think they gave me $4 for that, but they were all family members. But we're actually gonna get back into doing some merch. I think the fans require of it. I have to get like small children sizes for all the sons that are on my Patreon.
Well, yeah, you're hustling their little bank accounts. Everybody's in their little. I tell you what, I think it was Daryl Clark who just had his communion. His son had his communion, so he got communion money and donated it to the Jimmy Palumbo Show.
That's what it is. That's what we'll take your communion money. Matter of fact, a lot of times I get invited to these communions. And I say, well, hey, I charge $3 a month for this. You know what I mean? That's a scene from Goodfellas. Anyway, let's talk about the Yankees. Hey, look, the Yankees, listen, they're in first place. They're the Yankees. They got Soto and Judge. But really, to me, the story of the year. And by the way, I didn't check. I forgot what is Soto's batting average. I think it's like 295 now. Stop. Yeah. What is it?
Chris Gucci coming in. Yeah, put Tacky Perfect thing on me.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, there's nothing better than me just stabbing an ex-host in the back right there. I threw you under the bus, Chris, but I love you anyway.
Good to see that he's watching, though.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's Chris and I's anniversary. We became Facebook friends 14 years ago today.
I love that. That's great. But really, the thing of the season, I did predict Soto will bat 290 or less. And I did predict that Stanton will hit over 26.5 home runs. He's got 23. I got a shot at that.
Did you see the missile he hit in that
Oh
back-to-back
my
to back?
God. That was awesome.
It was like it looked like that ball owed him money. Like
I always laugh. The Judge hits far home runs, but Stanton hits the coolest home runs I've ever seen.
He just hit the meanest home runs.
You gotta, they're mean. They're mean. You're right. But we got to talk about, listen, Aaron Judge's season. I grew up with a dad, Ruth, talking about Ruth and Garrick and DiMaggio and man, and their stats. And then you get the people like Pat Volcomber. Oh, they're the poor relief pitching, but their stats were always, I mean, Lou Gehrig's lifetime batting average was like 342. He averaged 135 RBIs a season, that kind of thing. But Aaron Judge's numbers now, I mean, he's batting 324, 51 home runs, 122 RBIs, and Rutgers hasn't started playing football yet. That is unbelievable. And then see the catch he made in center field?
Oh, now my buddy texted me. He's like, "You're not going to believe it," because I wasn't watching the game yet. And he's like, "You're not going to believe what this guy just did." I was like, "Oh, 52?" He said, "No, he just scaled the wall and took a home run away."
And then he held the ball up to the ref, then threw a perfect throw to the cutoff, and they got the guy at first. Unbelievable. The ref. That's exactly what they are. They're all refs.
You get the merit on that one.
The other thing is, so I bet Stanton hit 27. I hope that happens. Did you see Stanton swing and miss? The broken bat hit the umpire?
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
I was watching it at my buddy's house, and you realize that, like, if that bat had spun a certain way, I know it's being morbid here.
It'd kill him.
I think it could have actually, like, slit his throat, and I don't know.
It could have stabbed him right in the jugular. Like, no bullshit. Like,
I think if that bat caught a certain way, he's a dead man. Chris, can I have a little fun with the ref? Just like when I watch soccer, it's a puck. I'm still going on record of listen, I'm known for shitty predictions. Until further notice, Jones over Love, I'm still going with it. Kyle Kerms is furious right now. We'll see. We're going to get to the Giants in a minute, though. Anyway, but one thing that sucks about the Yankees, though, they're horrible. They play sloppy. This guy Chisholm, he's diving. The Yankees, no one's playing. Here's the new. If I'm the GM, when I'm going for a free agent, I'm gonna say, "Hey man, just want to let you know, what position did you play in 11th grade? Oh, you played third base. Well, that's what you're gonna play here." The Yankees have guys like, "I'll go over there." Chisholm stinks at third. Do you see? He stinks. Look at that.
The only one I know that has it, like you and Janine are a perfect combo.
He stinks at third.
We're 24 games over 500, gonna be in the playoffs in about a month.
They don't play.
Still stinks.
Do you think they play crisp baseball ever?
No, and nobody does. Nobody does. Look around the league. This shit happens all the time. Like,
okay, first of
Jazz Chisholm is not playing in position. He's doing us a favor right now.
Listen to me. Jazz Fest stinks. I'm telling you, he stinks. And also, I watch baseball. I do watch a decent amount of baseball. And nobody really steals the bases unless this is what I would say if I'm a manager playing the Yankees. All right, guys, gather around. We got the Yanks today. Listen, anybody got decent speed, you got to go. You got first, you got to go. They can't throw shit out. But however, did you see the throw by Wells to pick the guy off yesterday? I think I go on record. That was the best Yankee catcher throw in about 16 years. No question about it. It's a rocket.
Clearly since Posada. Yeah.
Yeah, but a young Posada. Anyway,
Posada.
So the Yankees just play, and also anyway, Yankees are good. I know it. I'm being a dick. I get it. Let's talk about the Giants. I tell you, I know I actually watched the preseason. I don't know why I was home. I was working on something and a game was on, so I started watching. And
the Super Bowl,
the Giant one. The couple of things annoyed me. Number one, they got to eliminate this preseason game for the whole league because it's the beginning of the first couple of preseason games. You got guys coming in, you're trying to, but this one is like, oh no, we kind of know, but no. The Giants only had one starter. Of course, he was the only guy who got hurt, the center. It really is like nobody. I don't know what. It's such a money grab for the league. Nobody's playing.
What it is. It's exactly what it is. So what I personally look. I'm a psycho with this shit. So
right.
We were on our way home. I was on my way home from a family party, and I streamed the Dallas Cowboys final preseason game on the way home in the car, right? Because I need to see every play because I'm a psycho. Right. But it is getting to the point where I feel like joint practices will do enough.
That's what I say.
Just be scrappy during the joint practice, scrimmage a bunch, but like these preseason games are, you're watching guys that are going to be working as greeters at Walmart in a couple of days. It's not.
Now, but the other thing
it's not good entertainment, that's for sure.
The other thing that frustrates me is the Giants, though. A lot of these guys are backups, right? But here's the weird thing that annoys my soul. No, a lot of Chris, you're wrong. A lot of the jobs aren't on the line. A lot of guys are already the backups. There's like 4 guys or roster cuts, but it's unwatchable in my opinion.
Well, no, in his defense, I get it because there are like for me, knowing the Cowboys roster, like who's going to be tight end 3 and 4, who's going to be running back 4 and 5, like back end guys, but I really think they can get that figured out in a practice situation. So it's bad.
I think I think preseason. Chris Gucci's commenting here. I think he'll agree with this. I think preseason game number 1 is better than this one. My opinion.
Well. Remember, when there was 4, like dress rehearsal would be game 3. Game 3 is when the starters played like 3 quarters, right? Okay. But now all this guaranteed money that you're throwing out, including my boy CeeDee Lamb with a brand new shiny contract, even with that, that's why you can't play these guys for more than a couple series, if that at all. Man.
I get it. But you know what I don't? Okay, you just mentioned like CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. You want to talk about even Love. You want to. But when your team has stunk for 15 years, I think it would be balls for the coach to go, everybody's playing. I need to learn how to coach, the put the headphones on, how we call the plays. Like we stink.
That's the only thing that makes me kind of nuts is that like, and this is from me who loves Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott doesn't sniff it down in the preseason, but guys like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are out there throwing the ball a couple times.
You can't give a guy
what makes Dak and miss me with the injury shit because they've all got injured.
How about if they just you put Dak out there to hand the ball off a little bit, maybe throw a screen pass.
Cadence, for game speed. I think it's necessary. I don't know.
That's my opinion. Also, the other thing that annoyed me about the Giants-Jets is, and this is why the Jets have sucked for a very long time. And last year they caught a bad break with Rodgers. But if I'm a player, if I'm a backup player on the Giants, what that guy Sauce did, waving goodbye to them after dominating a scrimmage, okay? If I was like one of those linebackers from Iowa, whose last name is like Kowalski or something, I'd be like
contract killer.
I would be like, hey, coach, I'm going to make the team, right? Yeah, okay. I'm laying somebody out in this Jet game. like in other words, you know what I'm saying? Like there should be a guy who goes, hey, David, listen, I'm going to make the team, right? Pretty much. It looks like I've been playing a lot. Okay. Yeah. You're going to make it privately. Yeah. You're going to make it good. Because someone, I don't care if it's a tight end over the middle. I don't care if
somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Because what this guy Sauce has done with waving goodbye, blah, blah, blah. But the Giants, to me, they don't look tough. The backups, I just think they look like a passive wussy team. But see when the season starts, I don't know. I think the Giants, the way I feel right now, they're going to have the first pick in the draft, but I don't know. Let's see. NFL is not like NFL is weird. It's a week-to-week league. We say it all the time. And we will be debuting our stinks list next week from the past, and then we start it. I know you're so excited about that.
Love it.
And it's bone accurate. But more importantly,
oh, you know what? I just
want to say one thing about CeeDee Lamb signed with the Cowboys. I think he's the best receiver in the league. Everybody disagrees with me. I don't know. Cowboys are on TV every 5 minutes, and this is why I think CeeDee Lamb is the reason why people mock out Dak Prescott a little bit. Because when I watch the game, all I see is this Cowboy guy. Nobody's near him, and somehow the ball doesn't get to him. And if I was his agent, I would have said, I think his agent got another $10 million a year because his agent was like, you got the same film I got, right? There's never another player near him. So I think I know Gucci's up my. We got a lot of comments today, Shay. Well, listen, I just think
you said Daniel Jones is going to outplay Jordan Love. It's going to be hard to do that with number
one. Of course, I'm a fan on the couch, but I tell you what, I just think. Everybody thinks that Jones is not going to be the worst quarterback in the league, and I think Love is going to have. We'll see what happens. But I just think the Giants look shitty. Hopefully they'll turn it around. Poor Venditti works for them. He's I mock him out. I'm mocking the Giants out.
I'm sure he's really struggling over there working for the Mariners.
Listen, he doesn't. He's not a millionaire over there. Anyway,
yeah. Well, I mean, considering the fact that he's drove how many cars off the road, he's got to keep repairing them.
Him and my brother's so pissed I didn't mention Everson Walls. I can't believe I did that. All right. Well, of course, there's these little things, Dave. I know. Listen, you heading into the season, my cornhole has just been thrown off here, and there you go. Cornholelevel.com. That's right. If you got a cornhole thing, Labor Day parties, going to the Rutgers games, I see these boards all the time. You got to get yourself a cornhole leveler by going to cornholelevel.com. They're $19.95. You get a discount, 20%. Put in the JP Show. It's ran by my buddy Mike Caprio, my second baseman behind Mitch Fishman, who I'm mentioning here. And so go check them out. They're awesome. They totally make your cornhole thing wonderful. Now, they are sponsoring the Rutgers preseason Jimmy Palumbo predictions. All right, here we go, Dave. They open up with Howard. They were going to play Linden, but Howard they thought was to have a better band. Although the Linden band's pretty good, so they decided to take on Howard. Opening day, it's one of those pay-to-play games. Every team does it. I don't want to hear about why are they giving them $1 million. Every team does it. At least like Alabama plays like a Howard in like October, November. They play them later. At least Rutgers gets it out of the way. I think it's good for Rutgers to play a team that's not that good, so they can work the wires and the communication, the scoreboard, all that shit. They're going to beat them. They're going to blow them out. So I have a win there at Howard. It's almost a non-game. The second game is interesting to me. I remember Akron playing tough a couple times against Penn State, and they beat us a few times over the years. But they're ranked like 131st. They're not strong. They're Division I. They're a regular team though, and I think we're going to win that game. I feel confident. So I think we're going to be 2-0. No big deal there. Most people say that. Then we got a week off, and what was that?
I said, "Let's go 2-0."
Dave's all fired up. Okay, now then we have a week off. And
by the way, I have to say, the Scarlet Fever or whatever that's called, the team store,
right?
Fantastic pricing over there. Let me tell you, if you want all your Rutgers, they're not a sponsor of the show.
I'm going tomorrow.
I got this. Do you know? I got the Rutgers shirt and a hoodie for like $50 total.
All right, and you do know that I'm friends with him because the guy owns that store. Okay. I love this is why I do this podcast. Okay, here's how it was. There used to be a barber shop in that store that I went to as a student. There's an old man, okay? So I get a haircut there like October 1st, right? I go back a month later, like November 1st. I go to walk in, and I see a guy walking out with the cash register, one of those old cash registers. I go, what are you doing? He goes, yeah, my old man died. We're out of here. So I was like, I'm going to cut my hair, right? I used to bitch and moan, and my brother's not going to drive off the road. I was like, back then in 1984, I guess this was something like that. Maybe 85. I don't know. I forget the year, right? Somewhere between 83 and 87. That's when I was there. The only place you can get a Rutgers paraphernalia, you had to go to the bookstore way in the back and buy there was nothing of it. Kohl's, there was no stores like that. There was no merchandise. You had to order from a special guy in like Zimbabwe that came in and knitted the shirt in front of you. There was no Rutgers. You go to Penn State, people wearing shit, not at Rutgers. So then I see that they open up a place, it's going to be Scarlet Fever. I'm like, that was my idea. Open up. But the funny thing about the owner of that place, nice guy, he was the actual Scarlet Knight. He was the guy in the costume.
No,
did you know that?
No, I did not know that. Okay. Now that I know that, I'll definitely bring it up next time I go get some swag.
Which leads itself to another classic story. Do you know that during the Eddie Murphy comedy show at the Rack, somebody stole the Scarlet Knight head? Do you know that? Okay. And they had to redesign it. They changed his face. Okay. But here's the even better part. You imagine if that happened in Alabama or Hurricanes, they stole the orange, or any school with the in West Virginia, if someone stole the musket, right? Whatever. But the funny thing is, New Jersey's not a big state. It's a lot of people, but it's a small state. 5 years later, some guy is drinking at Tierney's in Montclair, which is a famous pub in Montclair. Maybe you've been there, Dave. It's a famous pub. And one of those that's been around for 100 years, right? Some guy's having a beer. He looks up to the rafters, okay? He goes, hey, Well, you guys know what the Scarlet Knight had up there. They put the Scarlet Knight head. This is how unpopular Rutgers was back then. They put the Scarlet Knight head in above the bar, like you see people have planes and plaques, Budweiser signs, and nobody went. So then they pull it down, like, oh shit, this is the head. The state troopers arrived. It was like a felony because it was all this different things. And the state troopers brought the head back, but then it was all fuzzy and shitty and smelled like nicotine and beer and shit. And they changed it over. Anyway, so that's my story on the Scarlet Fever Scarlet Fever clothing store in New Brunswick. It's awesome. Go check it out.
It's great.
All right. So after the 2-0, we got a week off. Okay. Then I will be getting in a car and driving down to Virginia because the Scarlet Knights take on Virginia Tech. Now,
you're going to that game?
Yeah. Now, my nephew went there and he's been begging me to come down, so I'm going. The Virginia Tech game, we beat them last year, and everybody thinks, wow, Virginia Tech's a tough place to play. The crowd, they have a special opening ceremony, all this different stuff. And I'm like, okay, I get it. It's a tough place to play. We beat them last year. I think we got a better quarterback coming in. So my thing is, okay, why is Virginia Tech so hard when we have to play at Michigan, at Penn State, at Iowa? I don't think this is a tough away. It's a tough away game. It is, but it's not like, oh, the unfriendly confines of Virginia. I'm like, we play at Penn State in front of 110,000 people. I dare you at a whiteout, and I'm sitting there in my dopey red Rutgers shirt on. I don't think it's harder than any of the schools we play on the road, except for a few here and there. So I think we're going to beat Virginia Tech. We beat them last year. I think Rutgers got better. So we're going to be 3-0, okay? And then the following week on a Friday,
That's the one I'm even if you can't get me a ticket to this one, I'm there.
I should be able to get it. We are playing the second place team last year, the Washington Huskies, who lost their quarterback and they lost their head coach. But this is the game. All the Rutgers fans like, oh, then we're going to be 3-0 at home. Well, this is where Jimmy Palumbo's bubble gets burst, and I have a miserable show on Tuesday. I think Washington is still loaded with talent. They're the highest ranked team we play this year, according to the Massey ratings, and I think we're going to get beat at home because Rutgers, whenever there's a big game at home.
Do they put up a fight, though? Do they put up a fight?
I think because we got a good defense and a good running back, yeah, but I think Washington's going to go, not today. That's what I think it's going to be. Then we have another game at Nebraska. Now, Nebraska has been weird this year. They lost to Colorado early, but they played a little better as the year went on. This is at Nebraska. You talk about at Virginia Tech. I think going at Nebraska, they still have like one team out there. Yeah, they got one team in the state, and I think that game is, and that's going to be my early bad loss. We're like, oh, so pissed off. We're going to lose to Nebraska. But they're only ranked a few steps ahead of us right now in the preseason polls. Then here's where my big win comes in. We play at home against Wisconsin. Everybody's going to be like, Rutgers is only 3-2. But I think the components will still be. By the way, this is barring injury, and we're just having fun here. I think we're going to beat Wisconsin at home. I do. I think we match up okay against them. And you got to remember our offensive line. I'll talk about it a little bit as we go on. It's a little bit of a veteran crew, and we're coached by arguably the best offensive line coach in college football, Pat Flaherty, who coached the Giants for 20 years through Super Bowls and all that. He's a really good offensive line coach. So the line will be better. And I think we had the least amount of sacks last year, believe it or not. Then we play UCLA at home. And this is the game people think, oh, wow, UCLA. UCLA hasn't been good in a very long time. I think Rutgers is going to beat UCLA. And this now will put us at 5-2. And now this is where the momentum is going to be like, here we go. And then we got to go at USC.
Special kickoff time at 11 p.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, 11 p.m. East Coast. I'm going to go to that game, I think. I'm going to try to do some.
You're going to fly out to Cali for that. That's awesome.
I might, because I try to go up earlier in the week and try to do some stand-up and talk to some of my agents out there and stuff like that. So I may combine it. I just think USC is another team. If you look at the recruiting, 2 or 3 schools, Alabama, Like Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, and USC. They just like we get 2 5 stars and there's big articles in the favor. USC, they don't get 3 stars. It's all 5. And those guys transfer. It's like, and they don't transfer to Drake. Okay. They transfer to like, oh, it's good. I'm going to go play in Florida State. Or I'm going to go play. These guys go to like Notre Dame to this is the high level. And I think that program is stacked. And they lost their quarterback. Give me that. But I think we're going to lose at USC. I do.
So I put you at 5-3.
5-3. Now this is where
before you get on to the next game, I got to ask you a question about the new quarterback, because obviously we had the Wimsat experience last year, which is just like the Lamar Jackson with an even worse arm experience last year, right? He was a runner. Like the new kid they brought in.
He was not Lamar Jackson. He was way slower. He was a fullback that played quarterback.
You know what I mean? He was just he's a run first type guy. Explain to me what the new quarterback brings. Is he another run and gun type guy, or is he sitting?
No. We brought in Ethan Kalakamak. I'm trying to get it right. They call him the Greek freak and stuff, whatever. Ethan Kalakamanis. He played at Minnesota, which is the next team we're going to talk about. The offensive coordinator recruited him and coached him at Minnesota. And that's why after last year, I think the offensive coordinator went up to Shiano and said, this guy can't play. Wimsat, he stinks. Let me bring in my guy, see if he wants to transfer. The guy transferred right over. He beat Wimsat out in 6 days in spring practice. And Wimsat went back to Kentucky, where he's from. And Wimsat was competing at Kentucky now with the Georgia transfer. And Wimsat's the backup there. So he lost.
There's no way you're beating out a Georgia transfer.
Okay, but that Georgia transfer only threw 21 college passes.
But what I'm trying to tell you
is Wimsat got beat out like twice already, and he's only like 16.
No, but I'm just curious to know what style of quarterback we're bringing in.
He's more of a drop back passer. Yeah, he's got that kind of Daniel Jones speed. Like he's athletic. He's not a burner, but he's athletic. But he's way more accurate. Knows the guy's system really well, and that's why though we play Minnesota at home. And we're going to be 5-3, and everybody's going to be fired up. Okay. I think that game's going to be a revenge game for Minnesota. You know, when you're now playing the quarterback who left you, and Minnesota is ranked right about the same as us, I totally think Minnesota's going to knock us off. I do, at home. And that's the game. Me driving home on 287. I'm going to do my show live from me driving home on 287 in audio only with my daughter in the back if she goes to the game, miserable. And that's the game that'll put us at 5-4. And everybody's going to be like, same old Rutgers, blah, blah, blah. However, this is where Jimmy Palumbo says, timeout here. I'm going to be like Pat Riley after a timeout, because then I think we go at Maryland and no one's going to care about that game. It'll be cold and rainy and drizzle. And Maryland's been kicking the shit. Maryland's been kicking the shit out of us, right? We're going to get over the hump. We're going to beat Maryland. We're going to beat Illinois, and we're going to beat Michigan State and finish at 8-4. And it'll feel like a very good. This is the year we don't suck the last 3. The last 3 games are Maryland, Illinois, and Michigan State. I think they're all beatable, and I think we're going to win, including at Michigan State. And we'll go to a bowl game. It'll be like on December 9th, one of those.
Yeah, but maybe it'll be with an 8-4 record. Maybe it'll be more of a notable bowl rather than.
It'll be a bowl game. It'll be a bowl game between Christmas and New Year's. Certainly not on New Year's. Now, 8-4, which would be awesome. Okay, 2 games better than last year. But here's the kicker. A bounce either way. This season could be nuts. Okay. I really feel that way. We have a better quarterback. We have better wide receivers. The 2 wide receivers coming in didn't play last year. One, Led Monmouth, was the best in his conference. I was
reading about that kid, yeah.
Right. The other kid is a kid named Nassim Brantley, who, because of NCAA bullshit, couldn't play. Shiano fought it and said, it was like over a piece of paper. And he practiced with the team all year, and you read the blogs. You're like, I went to practice. He's the best wide receiver we have, and he couldn't play. So our 2 wide receivers are brand new. They're better than what we had. They were throwing a Gucci and me for the last 3 years. So they're going to have a new quarterback who's better, wide receivers that's better. We also have arguably top 2 running back in the conference, Manungai. So we got a running game, a better quarterback, better receivers. Okay. But our offense is
you
not.
said it before. The only way this thing hums is the offensive line. As long as they're upright.
I think the offense is a lot of betters. You're gonna hear me say. We also have a very good defense. Our defense last year, our offense was so shitty. You were like, oh my, like against Michigan, we should have beat Michigan like 3 out of the last 4 times. Go watch the games, look it up.
No, 2 years ago, I was watching that game in Dallas, and I was like, they have a shot here. Like, and then it just fell apart.
We blew the game against Nebraska, which is why that Nebraska game, everybody says we can't win, but that's gonna be a tight game. And also, we have a backup running back, Sam Brown, who I thought was their best running back before Monangai emerged. And I just think you put this all together, this could be a fun season. But the problem with Rutgers is Penn State, if they're like 6-2, everybody goes to the game. They go nuts. Rutgers plays in New Jersey. Jets, Giants, half the state are Cowboy fans. You got Knicks are coming. You got all these events going on. And when
Yankees
Rutgers was like Yankee playoffs, Met playoffs, forget about it. And if Rutgers is only 5-4 or 4-3, nobody's going to care. We don't have the fan base. We only have 13,000 season ticket holders, of which they total 20,000 in seats. That's like nothing. I just don't think they're going to capture. And then everybody's going to start thinking basketball. So that's the problem with Rutgers. In order for them to catch a buzz, they have to do what they did in 2006, which is go 7-0 and then play the number 2 team in the country and beat them. You can make the argument, according to Massey ratings, the percentage it's the first time, because when you play Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan, all 3 games we had an under 10% chance of winning. And this year, it's like 35%, 41%, some 65%.
Well, I think the way you generate buzz this year in particular is if you go home on a blackout and you beat Washington somehow. Like that's the way you have to. Like that's the only way you punch the holes in the mouth.
The 2 key games to me for Rutgers are Virginia Tech and Washington back to back. One's on a Saturday, one's on a Friday. If somehow Rutgers could be 4-0 coming out of that, that might change my Nebraska opinion.
But you'd settle for a split if need be. You know what I mean? Like you win one of those games at the very least.
If I had to pick which one we need to have, I'd take the Virginia Tech game because
nobody in the world is expecting you to beat fucking Washington.
Right. The 3-0 will. And another thing, when you do predictions like this, you don't know. I know Chris. Chris is trying to. Washington's good. I'm aware of that.
Well, here, I got a question for you, Mr. Rutgers. That's Jimmy's new nickname, Mr. Rutgers. You could tell by the magazine he was featured in right behind his right shoulder there. But I will say, I got to ask you, if there's a massive if, and obviously Gooch doesn't think it's even possible. No. But if the Rutgers Scarlet Knights beat Washington, is that a bigger win than the win against Louisville?
No, not even close. You don't understand. Let me explain what happened with the Louisville game. We were ranked like 9th. Okay. We beat Louisville. So I think we got as high as, oh my God, I think we were 5th, maybe 6th. It was real. The next week when we played Cincinnati, I think our game was a 4:00 game. Like the number 1 team lost, the 2 team lost. Had we beaten Cincinnati that game, it would have been at Rutgers. And we finished with West Virginia. Of course, we lost that one too. No, Rutgers beating Louisville was a major. We were 9-0. We were 9-0.
Fridays in Woodbridge.
We were 9-0, man. We were 9-0 with a shot.
I know. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in college football history over here.
What people don't understand is if you go back and look, the different had we gone 11-0, you make the argument, hey, this team, give them a shot. But we got smoked.
Had there been a playoff system back then, there would have been some real cool shit going on.
Now, we got comments here. Gucci saying the reason why I would want the Virginia Tech game, I know what Chris is saying because Washington is much better. I understand that. But
I think you're talking more realistic.
No, I'm talking about momentum. Like if we were Georgia, I would say, yeah, let's beat Washington. But Rutgers has to be 3-0 to generate. Like we're not going to sell out. We won't sell out a game until
Washington.
Maybe Wisconsin. Oh, Washington, we may sell out to blackout. But what I'm trying to say is I know Washington's better. It's a bigger game. I get that. But Rutgers needs to be 3-0 for people to go like, all right. And it's a blackout Friday night game, national TV. So if they lose to Washington, 27-24 on a last minute field goal, it'll be a good thing. I don't know. I got them at 8-4, but you could look at the schedule and say 6-6 again very easily. But you could also look at the schedule and say 10-2.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
if we're better,
I don't know nothing about nothing yet. I don't educate myself enough. I've looked into a bunch of things, but I'm telling you right now, if they give a fight to Washington, I think that Rutgers, based off their schedule and based off of who they got, they can be 9-3. I think 8-4 is definitely obtainable. But if you lose, if you fight Washington, you have a better chance of being 9-3 than 7.
Yeah, and listen, the Big Ten, they beat each other up. Put it this way, I'm more excited about this season. Now, I will tell you this. Okay, I'm also excited about hoops coming in. They got 2 first-round NBA draft picks on their roster. But here's how it could go this year. Okay, and this is where right now, Greg Schiano and Peichel are sitting on ice cubes in terms of the hot seat, right? But what if Rutgers goes 5-7, doesn't go to a bowl? Okay, the basketball team comes in, and they have all these new players, and they can't figure it out. Who's going to all the distribution? You hear all that, right? And they don't make the tournament. That seat for Schiano and Peichel to me is like a Duraflame in their ass, because it's like, guys, hey, Greg, you've been here 5 years, you haven't done shit. And Peichel
twice. This is your second time around.
So if that happens, if we don't go to a bowl game, it would be nuts. But the excitement.
I've never been to the rack yet, by the way, not once.
I'll get you to my brother. You'll die. If you come one game with me, you'll be like, and your kids will love it too. It's family. It's great. The rack I think the rack's one of the top, probably the top 3 or 4 places, the toughest place to play in the Big Ten for sure. It's the way it's designed. You're on top of people. It's loud because the acoustics suck. Anyway, so this is either going to be, I think this is the most important 6 months in the history of Rutgers sports. Because if they win, people are going to go nuts, especially leading into basketball. But if they shit the bed, the phrase "same old Rutgers" is going to be, I might get a tattoo across my forehead like Mike Tyson. But that's it. Which brings us to, that's it, 8-4. Go RU. Absolute Eyewear getting involved here from the Omni. 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937, I believe. I'll be with Craig and Johnny at the game Thursday. And it looks like I got a ticket for Sturchio, so he'll be there.
Yes.
And more on that in a little bit. Go check them out. They're a great place, good people. Get all your eyewear stuff from there. They're awesome. You'll love them. I guarantee when you leave there, you don't feel like a jerk off. So go to Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street, down by the train station in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Now, okay, take a breath. I want to talk about my day on Saturday. So Friday night, sitting home, and I see an ad for Old Timers Day, right, during the Yankee game. So I text my buddy Dave. I said, Dave, what are you doing tomorrow? And he's like, and I got stuff going on. I'm like, all right. I texted him back. I said, you want to go to the Yankee game tomorrow? He texted me back. He goes, hey, my wife and my daughter, they're looking at wedding venues because she got engaged. And shout out to Catherine DeLisi getting engaged, by the way, even though she's married an Eagle fan, but we'll let it slide. Yeah, I know. But we both hate the Cowboys, so I like them. But that's a running joke.
I think since knowing me, I think you have a very soft spot for the Cowboys now. Knowing that it affects the friends.
When I was younger, no, I do. I actually feel there's some games when they lose, I'm like, man, Dave's not handling this. I hope he doesn't. Hope his kids are asleep. So all of a sudden he goes, let's go. So I went on every SeatGeek prime time jerk off site. Most confusing thing, my nephew said, try Ticketmaster, who I hate. Ticketmaster actually has been running some sales with the Yankees, believe it or not. And from what I was doing, the Ticketmaster price, but I just laughed. Like some of the prices for a Yankee game, like, oh yeah, great seats, like $4.90. Like, I'm not paying.
Well, they also have MasterCard Mondays where you can go for like $5.
Well, it was Saturday,
but
not Monday.
Still is a $150 day. So don't get it twisted.
I decided, since I don't go to many games anymore, I was like, it's a beautiful day. Let's go sit in the upper deck. I don't care. So we got tickets that were, blah, blah, blah. Cost us $80 for the tickets or something like that. We were kind of behind home plate, a little bit to the right. Nice, fine for me. But we decided we left at like 9:30, and the old timers game started at noon. So we thought we were gonna hit traffic Saturday, GW Bridge. I did the pre-parking thing for River Avenue Garage, prepaid parking, right? $50. We got there in 43 minutes. Boom. We were there at 10:15. I'm like, shit, we got an hour and a half before the. So we go into the parking. We go into the parking garage. There's not many cars here, right? The guy looks at my thing. I go, prepaid parking. He's like, yeah. And it didn't seem that thing could have been in crayon from Dave Sturchio. Let Jimmy park here, okay? So he goes, hey, where do you guys want to park? I'm like, I don't know. I'm holding up a piece of paper like, tell me where to park. He's like, well, this garage is lousy at the end of the game, right? I'm like, yeah, I've been stuck in these garages. He goes, all right, well, if you go down straight, talk to the guy in the red hat, see what we can do. All right, we pull in, use the thing, the gate opens, we go in. The guy sitting there goes, what's going on, guys? We're like, prepaid parking. It's like, all right, well, it's not a good place to park here at the end of the game. It's really jammed. It could take you an hour to get out of here. He's like, so my buddy goes, $20? He goes, yeah. We give him $20, and now it's $70 to park. And he puts our car literally in front of the entrance of the exit to get out. And I'm thinking, what a scam that is. You prepay parking, and then you got to talk to a guy in a red hat who gets you a better spot. Then he took us 27 minutes to park the car because he had to have it exactly in this thing. Like, he was like, no, back up. We're like, dude, there's nobody here. Like, no, I'm jamming cars in here. Like, because every spot was $20 or maybe more. Some guys maybe give him 50. I don't know. So part of me was like, wait a minute, I paid 50. But if this really works, you get out easier, it's totally worth the $20. Because when you go to listen, any fan out there, when you go to Yankee Stadium, you're fucked. It's expensive. It's hard to get to. It's the most, the sign should be Yankee Stadium where we will irritate your soul, but perhaps they'll win so you feel better about yourself. So then we walk down the stands, park the car. We walk down the stands. And I tell you, I go to stands because that's what I did when I was younger. Stands is so different now. Like, there's no more stools. It's half outside. They got TV. I mean, it's still stands, but it looks like it's run by an Italian family in Bergen County. It's just the bartenders are not friendly. It's just what a shitty. It's shitty. I'm glad that place Billy's is bigger and nicer because fuck stands, but it stands. We went in there, and so I'm having a beer. I'm on my second beer now. We're looking out at the old. When you look at it, stands you're staring out to where the old Yankee Stadium was, exactly where it was, and they got this park there now. And I'm like, damn. I was like, man, like Luke, Eric, Babe Ruth, they played right there. Reggie and Jeter, and it's just gone. It's just when you're sitting at stands, you're like, it's so wrong that the stadium is 100 yards to the right. All of a sudden, we're hanging out, and I feel a guy come up behind me, and it's a guy wearing headphones with his phone, and he's kind of moving his body like he's listening to a song. A white kid. Dude, he got into our personal space. Like, and there was room. So I look around, and I thought in my head he's going to go, beer league. I thought it was going to be like that. All of a sudden, I'm like, I said, can I help you? And I said it kind of like in an actor mode because I'm the most non-tough guy in the world. I'm like, can I help you? He's like, no, I'm just hanging out, man. And I'm like, so my buddy Dave's like, well, can you step back 10 inches so I can at least pivot my beer? He's like, yeah, it's cool. And he steps back, but he was like, listening to me, it was creepy. I was like, oh my God. I go to Yankee Stadium, I got creepy guy here. So then we go out. I said, you know what, Dave? My buddy Dave, I said, I want to go down onto the field where the old stadium was. So we go down this little stairwell, and they have all kinds of signs up. This is where the Yankees played. And one of the fields, home plate, matches where the old home plate was, which is cool. And then all of a sudden, you get the old man from the Bronx comes up to us. The guy looks like he worked for the Department of Sanitation from 1961 to 1984. He comes over, and he's like, oh, yeah, this is it. Guys, right here. This is it right here. I go to 700 games. He starts giving us, like, detail, like, well, they put the grass down. They kept the original grass for a little bit. That way. Then he's going on and on. Then he's giving us details, which was cool. That's where the home plate was. This and that. Reggie's home run hit there. He's going on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, you know what? It's like, all right, that'll do. Like get the backup out of the game. I mean, he went on and on. I had to walk away from this poor slob. I didn't want to hear him anymore. So then we just went into the game. However, this was about 20-12 before the old timers game, which when we got in there was no one in there, less than 10,000 people. The line to get in was the most embarrassing, ridiculous. I thought Giant Stadium was shitty. They got to do a better. Anybody's been to Yankee Stadium, Dave, you can't. First of all, the gates are close together. They don't tell you where to go. Your tickets on your phone and the wallet don't say what gate to go in. People are coming off the street, off the subway line. The maze we went on, one way, make a left, make a right. And then you think you're going into the gate 6, it swings you back to gate 4. I was like, this isn't, it took us literally 25 minutes to get in. And no, we get in there, the place was empty. I was like, what is this? So then we decided, it said all seats, right? To the right when you go in that one by the restaurants there.
Yeah.
Again, this is my fault being naive. They have elevators at Yankee Stadium, right? But I said, no, we'll take the ramp up, forgetting that we're in the upper deck. You talk about me running a 5K. It was the longest ramp thing I've ever done in my life. There was no one in there. I thought we were in a bad prison movie with Michael Madsen. It's a funny joke. It was like hello. And we went all the way up. I got to the seats. I wanted to talk it over. So we get to the top, and my buddy Dave bought the first beer. But listen, I know they serve big beers at stadiums. I'm telling you though, the beer that I got, Dave, it had like a pinstripe on it. It was the largest can I've ever seen. I went up to the guy like, where did you guys get these? I don't think they're manufactured anywhere. The can of beer. It was like a 59 ounce. I was like,
yeah, but it was also about $26 probably too, right?
But also, no one enjoys drinking 70 ounces of beer like on a hot day. Like I was having trouble managing the can. I was like, this is like bad business. But my buddy, of course, had to go to the bar. You can't tip on the card. It's cashless. My buddy went to the little bar area and he orders a Tito's and tonic. Okay, $28 with the tip and the cash deal. I was like, oh my God. So we were laughing. But he said the best line. I was like, dude, $28? He goes, yeah. He goes, and I'm going to get 2 more. Like he was already conceding. Some people go like, I'm not doing this. It was 28. But he was like, no, really, it's going to cost me $100 to drink these because I'm not.
He's allocated his beer fund. He knew exactly what he was doing.
So we did that. So then we go to our seats. Now, on my ticket on the thing, my phone, all of a sudden it said obstructed view, right? And I'm in the upper deck, and I'm thinking, we're the upper deck at Yankee Stadium. I could shake hands with God, and how am I obstructed view? We had aisle seats that were at the end of the steps on the way up, and the reason why it's obstructed is people come up the steps, and you can't, and literally they obstruct home plate. The batter's box. Right? So I started to roar. So I was like, oh my God, I bought shitty seats. I'm laughing. So Aaron Judge gets up. Okay. The place was electric when he got up. 4 guys, two couples come up the stairs like, da, 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 da. And I had a little buzz on now because I had 90 ounces of beer in me. I'm like, I start yelling, dude, obstructed view. I said, you can't come up the steps when Aaron Judge is up. He's got 70 home runs. It's April. You can't. So fans start booing while Judge is up. Fans are booing these guys. They're oblivious. Oh my God. So the guy comes down and I go, dude, you can't come up the steps when Judge is up. He's like, oh, I didn't realize he was up. And I'm like, oh my, it's like a joke to me. So we go back for another beer. And this girl from UCLA comes up to us. She's 22 years old, senior at UCLA. And she's sitting behind us. She's by herself. Like my buddy says, hey, how are you? Just general like, hi. Right? She's got barely any clothes on. Okay. And she's like this ditzy LA person. And my buddy just starts to engage with her just for shits and giggles. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm thinking my great-grandfather was born in Brooklyn. I'm going to go to his house. I have the address and I'm going to knock on the door. And I was like, hey, where you going in Brooklyn? It's like some parts of Brooklyn are really nice, and you may get a nice little couple that, little yuppie there with their wife and kid in Brooklyn. But if you go to a certain section of Brooklyn and you knock on the door, and I went, dressed the way you are, I was like, I'm not so sure that's a good plan of operation for coming to Big Apple. And so my buddy's like totally talking her out of it. Like, no, you cannot go to Brooklyn and knock on a door. This is New York City.
Both went into dad mode, like immediately.
Yeah. Oh, immediate dad mode. And she's like, oh, you guys are being so kind and so nice. We're like, oh my God, get away from it. Then, of course, the old
instead of going to your grandpappy's house, why don't you come to Stands after the game? We'll have a couple beers.
Right. Then the old timers game, of course. I didn't talk about that. They don't play the game anymore. So they announce all these guys. And I'm told that Brett Gardner didn't want to go because he felt slighted by the Yankees.
He didn't even answer the phone. He didn't even call back the Yankees. Like,
can you be a bigger jerk off? Because he felt he should have had
something hilarious though.
He wanted a day. Anyway.
Well, his agent apparently got back to the Yankees, and he said that his son was playing in a football game and he didn't want to miss it. But like for Gardner not to even like entertain a phone call was crazy. The crazier part was in the bleachers. I don't know if you saw this. The bleachers, all the legends are on the field, right? The Jeters, the A-Rods, the everybody, right? The old timers. All of a sudden, the guy who starts the chant in the with the bleacher creatures realizes that somebody's sitting next to him, and he doesn't know who he is until he realizes, holy shit, you're Chuck Knobloch.
Chuck Knobloch was in the bleachers? I did not know that.
Was in the bleachers, and they did a roll call for him in the bleachers while he was there. I was like, holy shit. Turns out he's also at the Woodbridge Brewery signing autographs.
Getting involved. Chuck Knobloch, which the Woodbridge Brewery is right across the street from Absolute Eyewear.
And it all ties in.
Yes. Now, I'll talk
Chuck
briefly.
Knobloch enjoying the game out in the bleacher creatures.
I'll talk briefly about the game. All the games the last 5 days, Yankees, home runs, Stanton's hitting the ball. We went to the game where the other team hit home runs. The Yankees decided to pitch Gucci as a starter with an 8.5 ERA. Then they put a guy in. I saw a guy make his major league debut, Peralta. I thought it was Wanda Peralta, whatever, but it was a guy who made his debut. It's always cool. He struck out the side. The game was awful. They were sloppy. Ben Rice stinks. Oh, God, does he stink? Throwing the ball all over the place. Anyway, the game was awful. We left, and we got home, and we left in the seventh inning. It was 9-2. I got home in 45 minutes. The parking garage, that was worth the $20. That was the only positive of the day.
Yeah, well, was not for nothing, but it was a waste of $20. If you left early, then nobody's going to be out there anyway.
I think we might have left at the eighth inning. Whatever it was people were filing out. It was getting shit.
All right.
And that's it. Now, I have a special guest here, Natalie. Nat.
She thought she was on.
My daughter is with me today. Here, put your headphones on.
Nice. Special guest arrival.
Get it.
Ooh.
Get it.
Ooh.
All right, here we go.
What's up, Nat?
Hi.
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
All right. Now, welcome to the Jimmy Palumbo Show, Natalie, or the Dad Show, as you call it. Now, I'll do a half interview. Now, Nat, what grade are you heading into next week?
Sophomore year.
The best thing about a freshman, they become sophomores. She got her sophomore year. Now, her knee is healed. She had major surgery. She's healed. She's dancing again. It's not 100%. Not 100%. So, Kyle Kerms, if you're betting on the King Center Dance Company, Natalie's not 100%. That's critical. So, what are you looking forward to the most for this year, school-wise?
To keep like a new year, like a reset.
New year, a reset. Pickleball reset. Dinking at home, Palumbo for three.
So basically, she's coming into the new year 0-0.
She's 0-0. Now, I think I've done. I don't know how good of a dad I am, but I've done one thing masterfully well. Natalie, who is your favorite college football team?
Rutgers.
I somehow, through the grace of God, Natalie is into Rutgers. She's into Kyle Manungai, and she liked Wimsat. And I didn't let her out of that.
I felt bad because my dad kept on yelling at him.
She liked Wimsat.
So bad.
She liked him because he felt bad for him. Because
Jimmy from the stands is making him feel like a
I felt so bad for him. You were screaming at him.
I couldn't take it. He looked like Chris Gucci throwing a pass. It was horrific.
If Chris is watching, he's going to come back. Well, I could totally throw a better pass. Are you crazy?
Yeah, of course, definitely, because he thinks he can guard me too. I'll do a quick slant, first down.
I don't know about all that.
So you also got your dance schedule. You got all the dances you want to get. She's also going to be starring in the Nutcracker. And rumor has it, now I don't know if the production, I've done it now 3 years in a row, but my contract was up, and it's like, listen, I dominated the floor for 3 years in a row. I didn't sign with the Nutcracker for this year. They weren't supposed to do it. But I'm like Aaron Judge, like, listen, I'm willing to go to another company's Nutcracker. I am available and ready. So I got to see if the King Center can sign Johnny Trino to a major deal to do the Nutcracker. But if they ask, big dads always show up, as Dave Sturchio knows, with your daughter. Now, I got a question we can ask Dave. Rumor has it that Dave's kid, Stella, is involved in the dance program.
So this year, it's different because she's been like upgraded. And Jimmy, this is where the bank account starts to hit a little bit of a skid here. She doesn't want to do just dance anymore. She wants to do dance and gymnastics, which are on 2 different nights. So Wednesday afternoons and Saturday mornings are now acquired by Stella.
I just got a text from Kyle Kerms. The over and under on Dave missing Cowboy games on Sunday just went up immeasurably, right? The over and under is 27 right now. As he will have gymnasts. Miles is going to be knocking people out in football or hitting bombs.
Do all that?
Well, that's what people are commenting on the show now.
That's so
and also we have here another guest. I forgot. Come here.
Oh, what is that?
This is, we have a Muppet. This is my dog. I got my dog Mia here. Say hello to Uncle Dave.
What's up, Mia?
It's family day here at Shea. So now that I got Natalie on, I'll talk about something she can relate to. Dave and I have a major announcement. I know we waited to the end of the show because I want to get my daughter on because she's here. We have a major announcement, Dave. And what is that major announcement?
Well, the major announcement after a little snafu with scheduling, we finally got ourselves a locked on date for October the 11th, which is a Friday night. We will finally get together, hopefully have a massive crowd. We're going to show Game Day, Beer League, Artie Lang's Beer League, and of course, Beer League, the series, the pilot, all in one night at the Smodcastle Theater. And I'm very excited about that. What? It's Atlantic Highlands, I believe.
Atlantic Highlands. It's Kevin Smith, the guy that did Clerks. It's his theater. I'm really reaching out to people. We really need to sell tickets for this because we want to be in the bigger theater if we can. And I'm excited about it because if you're a Beer League fan or even a fan of Dave and I, this is going to be a fun night. We're going to have like photo ops and red carpets, and everyone's being invited, the original cast of Beer League. I don't know who I can get there yet. There'll be some people there. I'm hoping Artie can come. Ralph Macchio is invited. I don't know if he can make it. It'd be a cool thing. But we're also going to show Game Day, the short, which to a lot of Beer League purists, and I know you're out there, that short really is cool, man. It's a really cool short directed by Michael Ruane. And then we're going to show Beer League, which should be fun. Then we're going to show our brand new spanking 22-minute pilot, Beer League, the series, starring Jimmy Palumbo as Johnny Trino and starring Dave Sturchio as, well, I guess we shouldn't say anything. Should we say, we can say, who cares? Dave Destruction is in the house as a nemesis in the movie, and it's pretty, you'll get a kick out of him. We've got a wonderful cast. Michael Deege getting involved. And we're going to post about this like crazy. And so anybody listening, try to come out. It's going to be a fun night because we're going to just be having fun. I think there's a bar nearby. Gucci will meet us at the bar because it's 21 and over, so his girlfriend can't go. But the a quick 3, Palumbo forgot about it. Bang!
That's a double bang from Mike Breen.
Gooch, that's too old of a joke. Oh, wait a minute. His sister's at the Mule.
That's where, he does their he does their social media over there too, man. That might be a good play.
Hey, Chris, that is where we're going. How far? I can't talk to him. I'm like, talk to him as if he's on the show.
We're live on the air.
You know what? You're going to come on the air next week, and we'll swing in and we'll bust balls. But all right. Well, I know this is a long show. We covered everything, I think. What else? Oh, don't forget Pine Tar Bar and Grill down in fucking River. 609-489-4286. It is simply the best sports bar in America. Go check it out. You'll love it. He's got the games on Amazon, Apple. He's got phones to get he's great at that. And also, I'm going to go visit right now Lisa Ruane, not for counseling, but for just hanging out with her kids and playing. So she's a therapist, 201-725-1251. She's a good kid. And I'm going to be seeing her now. That's about it. So Rutgers is 48 hours away from a high spiraling kick. Dave Sturchio will be in the house all fired up like a jackass. He'll be wearing his chop. You got to wear a chop sports. You don't even have a chop sports.
I wear my Rutgers shit. Are you kidding me? I spend good money on this stuff.
And you're gonna wear a cowboy hat. Of course you are.
Oh, absolutely. maybe to keep it on the local front, I'll wear a Yankee hat just to kind of ease the blow and nobody thinks I'm gonna jerk off or anything like that. So
no, you can wear it if you want. It don't matter. All right, well that's it. Signing off with Mia and say goodbye, Nat.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
All right, we'll see you.
So funny.